I ended up blogging it over on Front End Masters, the like just my list of what the alternative browsers are, because you got Edge, Chrome, Firefox, Safari, pretty much, right? And those have a ton of usage because a lot of people like the one that they like, and they're built in or default in some way on a bunch of operating systems. You know, Chrome's very popular despite not being a default, but it is actually default on Android, which is a huge operating system. So there's that. You know, your Windows is going to have Edge on it right away and all that. I know there's some nuance to all this, but that's why they have such big market share generally. But okay, that's obvious. What about all these other browsers? If you use a browser that's not one of those, essentially, what are you using and why is so interesting, and what's the general appeal of those browsers? We've talked about Arc a million times. That one just captured me. I know we don't have to go all into the Arc saga, but I do still use it. I'm in Arc right now. So a lot of people use stuff like Brave, for example. Brave's been around forever, has a bunch of privacy stuff in it, pretty polished. That's an example of what a web browser, an alternative web browser you could use is. So what's the landscape of all the other ones? And it turns out into looking around on this and clicking them and in some cases installing them. Although I started doing that and I'm like, I'm not sure I need like 20 browsers installed, you know? But there's a lot.
This is so many. Yeah.
There's a lot of people that, because I think you can get a pretty small chunk of market share and make it work for a decently sized company. The one I was most surprised with is Vivaldi. When I looked at their company and it's, you know, it's international, or it looked like there was dozens and dozens of people that work there, and it's just free. Doesn't look like they have any very obvious business model. And I think it's because they're big enough that they get one of those little checks from Google too, like Mozilla does. And whatever else. I don't know for sure if I have that right, so slap my wrist if I'm wrong. But it is super customizable. It's pretty polished. It's not like Arc level to me, but it's, you know, it looks nice. And then there's a feed reader built in, there's email built in, there's calendar built in, there's VPN built in. There's just so much inside this browser. So I could see why it has some fans. Like if that stuff clicks with you, you're like, man, I just live in Vivaldi. Quite a few kind of Arc rip-offs. There's quite a few of them that look just almost exactly like Arc. Zen Browser is a big one that like is very shameless about it, I think. Like their feature set is like, we just stole all of this from Arc and tried to make it as pixel the same as possible, but it's Firefox instead of Chrome and totally open source. Looks good to me. I'm nervous about the future of Firefox. It's kind of my least favorite generally anyway. Sorry, Firefox fans. It's not that, you know, no shade. It's just not my faves.